everybody, and welcome back to R.O.A.M Podcast. I'm your host, Busy Bear. Listen, I have to get this out. I've been thinking about this all friggin' day. So I watched a video. It was a short video, which I'm going to show you. All right, I will put it on here in just a second. A black gentleman spoke to a younger, very smart, looks like she had a good head on her shoulders, black woman. Younger black woman. And no, I have to watch what I'm saying because I'm not going to be considered a racist here. But I have to talk about this. So, the black gentleman asked the younger woman there how she grew up. She's like, I grew up in a household with my mother and father, and I went to public schools. That guy, listen to what he says. And he goes, you're white privileged. What? She's white privileged because she grew up in a home with her mother and her father. She went to a public school, not a private school, public school. So what am I considered? Am I white privileged because of the color of my skin? Or what am I considered? I grew up in a home without my mother and father. I had my mother, I had my grandmother. I grew up in and out of fucking public schools, in and out of homes. I grew up the same way as anybody in poverty, okay? Powdered milk, food stamps, all right? But am I still considered white privileged? He straight dissed this little girl, all right? And she tried speaking up, but he's like, no. I'm going to show you this right now. Tell me what you think. It's ridiculous.
If they didn't commit the crime, they wouldn't have to deal with any of that.
Well, sometimes a lot of them don't commit the crimes.
No.
Which is interesting. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You were raised by your father and mother?
I was.
And so you had a better chance at life growing up because you had two parents who provided for you.
I did, yeah.
But isn't that the right and the best way to go rather than all this other stuff?
I don't necessarily agree. People can still be just as successful. I definitely do think I was more privileged to have both parents in the home.
So you're white privileged then?
Not necessarily.
You just like the white woman.
You had
everything.
At all. Not
What's
at
the difference?
all.
The white girl next to you had a father and mother in the private school, right? And she's white privileged. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So you're a black girl with a father and mother in the same classroom, sitting right next to the white girl with the privilege. So you had it too.
So what we mean when we say white privilege is not necessarily about what resources they have, but it's also a generational connection. And also a physical connection.
Guy is a total joke. To condemn that little girl like that for growing up in a gray home, should I be mad at her? Just like he's mad at her deep inside, just like he's trying to promote hate. He's trying to promote hate. She's obviously a black woman, proud of it, smart, pretty, good head on her shoulders. He's calling her white privilege. That's a term for hate. That's what they're using. They're making white people kiss their feet, knocking on their doors. When they open up, they punch them out, rob the place, and say, now I want your apartment. I want your house. Because of what your ancestors did to my ancestors. That's what's happening in Portland, Chicago, a bunch of places. So what do we do? Is there anything we can do? Yes. And I'm not going to say it, but I know you know what to do. We have to protect ourselves. A sheriff came forward. I'm not going to say names. If you saw it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, then I'm not going to say his name, but I'll explain what he said. He said the black BLM infiltrators that are knocking white people out, sucker shotting them, pulling them out of the cars and killing them, will not stop unless we surprise them as a race, unless we fight back. unless we protect ourselves. Those that have the right to bear arms, he told you to use them. I'm not promoting hate. This is my own opinion. I'm only stating what he stated. I have to say that. But we should be able to protect ourselves from somebody that is attacking us. If we're trying to leave the area that these people are rioting in, and we're just trying to get the hell out of there, we have that right. Just like you have that. I guess you have a right to fucking riot. It's not a friendly protest when you're burning American flags that you never fought for, that they didn't have family that died for it. And even if you did, you don't have the right to burn the flag, nor do you have the right to burn down a city for something that happened hundreds of years ago. It didn't just happen in America, and your own people sold your ancestors to many countries that bought slaves. You're mad about Republicans. The first Republican was a black man. I bet you didn't know that. Look it up. You know what? I'll look it up. I'll show you. Hold on. So this is for all you fact checkers out there. Fact check. Yes, historians do teach the first black members of Congress were Republicans. The claim is that historians don't teach that. Also, a viral meme posted on Instagram features a well-known lithograph of the first black members of Congress with the bold statement, "History not taught," it says. The first 23 black congressmen were Republican. "You won't be taught this," wrote Ryan Foreigner, the co-chair of Students for Trump, whose watermark appears on the meme on his Instagram account. The Republicans were the anti-slavery party. See what I'm talking about, people? You can look it up yourself. Not many people teach this. Not many schools teach this. To be honest, dumbasses think the party switched somewhere down the line.
Which is total bullshit.
Okay? Why? The Democrats were in the South. The Republicans in the North. The North was the first to get rid of slavery. I hope you know that. But the Democrats later on needed to win. So in order to win the presidency, they needed to win the North. So they put in all their money and all their efforts to try to turn the tide. And literally, it fucking worked. The schools don't teach this. The schools don't teach you that they teach you that it switched somewhere along the lines in the early 60s or something. Like it turned, the Republicans turned into a racist party, which is bullshit, by the way. But I'm getting at, America was not the first country to own slaves. The slaves were sold by their own people. And it dates way the hell back. Way back. Okay, I'm going to show you that real quick. Slavery occurs relatively rarely among hunter-gatherer populations because it develops under conditions of social stratification. Slavery operated in first civilizations such as Sumer in Mesopotamia, which dates back as far as 3500 BC. Slavery features in the Mesopotamia Code of Hammurabi, 1860 BCE, which refers to it as an established institution. Slavery was widespread in the ancient world, found in almost every other ancient civilization, such as the Roman Empire. It became less common throughout Europe during the early Middle Ages, although it continued to be practiced in some areas. See what I'm talking about? This is crazy. I'll read just a little more. The Dutch, French, Spanish, Portuguese, British, and a number of West African kingdoms played a prominent role in Atlantic slave trade, especially after the 1600s. Although slavery is no longer legal anywhere in the world, with exceptions of penal labor, human trafficking remains an international problem. An estimated 40 million people were enslaved as of 2013. Oh, wow. The majority in Asia. During the 1983 to 2005 Second Sudanese Civil War, people were taken into slavery. Evidence emerged in the late 1990s of systematic child slavery and trafficking on cacao plantations in West Africa. But to be honest, it's crazy because you can go and look. I looked on Snopes, and there's a lot of black community member leaders back in the day that owned a lot of slaves. I'll show you a few now. Fact check, Snopes. The first legal slave owner in American history was a black tobacco farmer named Anthony Johnson. Possibly true. The wording of the statement is important. Anthony Johnson was not the first slave owner in American history, but he was, according to historians, among the first to have his lifetime ownership of servants legally sanctioned by court. Okay, now here comes the rest. A former indentured servant himself, Anthony Johnson was a free Negro who owned 250-acre farm in Virginia during 1650s, with 5 indentured servants under contract to him. One of them, a black man named John Castle, claimed that his term of service had expired years earlier and Johnson was holding him illegally. In 1654, a civil court found that Johnson in fact owned Castle's services for life. An outcome historian R. Hillenburton Jr. calls one of the first known legal sanctions of slavery, other than as a punishment for crime. So even in history, there was chiefs that sold other black community members into slavery. Don't get me wrong, the white community that lived in America was wrong for what they did. I guess you would say that was part of life at that time. But in our defense, now I'm an Indian of this land, America. I'm Cherokee Indian, Irish, and German. So I do have white in me. I also have Native American. But I'm not trying to take the blame off of what happened back then. But what's happening now, right? There's no excuse for it. It doesn't matter if it happened 100 years ago, right? What they're doing now, pulling people out of vehicles because they're white, beating them, raping them, killing them, that doesn't fly. America is going to fight back like they are doing. I know Antifa is a big part of this, okay? Antifa sucks. They need to be considered a terrorist organization within our country. They need to go bye-bye. That's why American patriots are knocking them the F out, all right? But the BLM infiltrators, what they're doing, like I said, there's no excuse for it. That needs to stop, or there's going to be a big-time war, okay? A race war, and we don't want that. Nobody wants that. They don't want that. The whites don't want that. I don't want that. But I'm going to get to a quick question that somebody asked me, and then I'll talk to you guys later. So this question is from Jeremy Gnomes. He asks if I believe in Q, and if I do, how do they know all the stuff that's happening? It has nothing. I don't think it has to do with time travel. That's a little far-fetched. But there is evidence of people with that knew time travel. Like Donald Trump, his uncle was very good friends with Tesla. Like they were both inventors, man. So who knows? Like Einstein was on the verge of fucking a breakthrough with time travel. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that. I do believe Q is real because what they've said in 2016, 2017 is actually happening as we speak. Okay? Look at Gitmo. Guantanamo Bay. Donald Trump just signed for that to stay open. Stay open. And then they just built like 1,500 more cells. There was emails from the Kremlin saying that high-profile inmates will be going to Gitmo. So we'll see about that. And how do they know? I don't know. I do know that it's a military intelligence all coming together, working together with a bunch of different countries, allied countries, not the pieces of shit running those other countries like the Democrat want you to believe, like we should go to war with Russia, we should go to war with China, we should go to war with North Korea. Donald Trump came in and made allies, pretty much allies with all these countries. He don't want a war. So, to your question, yes, I believe it. The other part of the question, I don't know. Besides, they're all military background and intelligence agencies and allied countries. All right, everybody. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell button for the next video. And when I hit 30,000 likes, 30,000 followers, I'm going to do something insane, incredible. You pick, you choose, I'll do it. All right? God bless, stay true, America, and make sure you stay safe. Peace. Come on, you'll never look at America the same again, because I'm not.